Hello everyone, I'm Mr. R, and this is the Rondinelli Project. Hey, there's a lot going on this time of the year. It's September, fall is just around the corner, archery season is almost upon us. In Pennsylvania, squirrel season comes in September 15th. They moved that back, not sure why, probably to get more people in the woods. I guess that makes sense if you think about it. So I thought I'd do a video on late summer, moving into fall. As far as crappie fishing is concerned, a lot of anglers are having trouble catching crappies right now in northwestern Pennsylvania, but they're out there. If you want to work hard to get them, you can still catch them, and that's what this video is going to demonstrate. We caught a few, and I'll show you how I fish for fall crappies. Welcome everyone, I'm Mr. R, and this is the Rondinelli Project. It is September 5th. It's almost fall. Not quite. We're going to see if we can catch some late summer crappies, or if you prefer, early fall crappies. Either way, I'm here, and we're going to see what happens. The lake is in transition. There is shore vegetation, and it's very tempting to go into the shallows to try to catch crappies. But you'll quickly find they're not there. This really stumps many fishermen. It looks good, but it doesn't pay off. The spawn is over, summer is almost over, and the crappies are getting ready for winter. For the most part, crappies are not schooling up anymore. I'm just wind drifting in 15 feet of water, and I'm jigging off the bottom until I find them. That's my technique right now. Cover some water till you find them. And finding them is the key. Do you fish shallow or do you fish deep? My recommendation is search for crappies in long flats, wind drift, because you're going to locate them now in deeper water. I like fishing depths of 10 to 15 feet in the fall. That's what we're after. But you'll find they're few and far between. And it's very easy to let your guard down. Instead of me munching on an apple, I should have been paying attention because I almost missed this hit. There's a lot of time in the fall between strikes, so focus. This is a typical crappie on Lake Wilhelm. Nothing spectacular. It's a black crappie by species, about the size of my hand. And that's a good gauge. Anything that's smaller than my hand, I generally throw back. Let them grow up. And even though in Pennsylvania you're allowed 50 a day, it doesn't mean you have to take home 50. So practice some conservation, keep the bigger ones. The real big ones you can throw back for spawning purposes. We want to keep the fishery healthy for future generations. If you work for them, you can catch crappies. You just have to work for them. And it's very helpful to keep an eye on your rod instead of gawking like me, and, you know, it really helps when you're trying to put more crappies in the live well. You have to have patience in the fall. It's not going to be one right after another like in the springtime. It's helpful to pay attention to the signs of nature. This little hitchhiker here made me change my color preference of my jig to chartreuse and black. And it paid off, as you can see here on this crappie. I'll freeze frame this right here and show you. You can see the color, the black and chartreuse tube bait that I was using, which was imitating the grasshopper. I find that to be one of the most productive colors on the lake, although you have to experiment when it comes to color choice. It's been my experience that late summer, the live well's going to be a little sparse. It won't be chock full like in the spring. Late summer, things slow down, and you have to start thinking differently. You've got these big, wide open flats of water like you see here. The crappies are there. You have to be patient, and you have to hunt for them. In the first day of filming, I started late morning into the afternoon. In the second day of filming, I decided to change that up and go early into late morning, and there was a difference. Locating crappies got worse, and I wanted everyone to see that I have long periods of inactivity and I catch nothing. Stupid. See? I miss fish too. It's not like on television where they catch one on every cast. I guess the point I'm trying to make is you can't get discouraged. Have another sip of coffee, and sooner or later, it'll happen. Finally, it did. But that was 2 hours later. So you have to be patient. It's not going to be like the frenzy of the spawn in late spring. And that second day of filming was very humbling because the crappies were not cooperating whatsoever, and they just were turned off. I fished all morning and caught very few crappies. And there was a storm heading in later, early afternoon, so it was probably time to weigh the anchor and head home. But that's the nature of fishing for crappies in the late summer, early fall transition. The takeaway for that week's pattern was afternoon was much more productive than early morning. So it's my recommendation, have that heavier rod there with a lure on it, cast for walleye, cast for bass, whatever other sport fish are out there to catch, and pass the time that way. Because you just never know. Got to do something while you're waiting for the crappies to bite, right? Excuse the cliche, but when it comes to crappie fishing in early fall, that's why it's called fishing and not catching. Well, time to let this bass go and head home. Well, there you have it. Fishing for crappies, moving from late summer into early fall. It's always a challenge. The lakes are in transition. The crappies are not going to be that easy to catch. But if you work for them, you'll catch them. Just get out there, whether you use jigs, whether you use minnows, whether you use bubble gum, it doesn't really matter. Just get out there, see what you can do, and make your time on the water successful. Because pretty soon, in this part of the country, it's going to get cold and the lakes will start to freeze over. Well, maybe. They didn't last year that well. I don't know how much ice fishing we're going to be able to do this year, but that's another video. I'm Mr. R. This is the Rondinelli Project. I'll do my best to keep the videos coming. I got a lot on my plate. I'm newly retired from teaching. I entered education 30 years ago, and for me, Teacher Christmas is year-round now, not just in the summer. So I'll do my best to produce some videos just to kind of connect with nature and do what I do. So, have a great day. See you on the water. And, yep, we gone.